that you guys don't really have a close relationship, which is weird to me.
It's funny when we see each other, we just talk all over each other.
Mike Myers and Dana Carvey are no longer friends, not even close. It was supposed to be one of those friendships that survived everything. Fame, fortune, the grueling grind of Saturday Night Live. Two guys from completely different backgrounds who collided under the bright studio lights and created something unforgettable. Wayne and Garth, the ultimate rock and roll nerd duo. But behind the goofy wigs and iconic schwing catchphrases, something darker had been festering for years. Something that no backstage handshake, no Super Bowl ad, no red carpet reunion could ever fully fix.
When he was doing the whole movie, Austin Powers.
Austin Powers, yes.
The Dr. Evil.
Dr. Evil
is an impression of Lorne Michaels.
Right.
And I had heard, maybe you don't want to get into this, but,
no, it's fine.
but that Mike's impression of Lorne was based on your impression of Lorne, and he took it and used it as Dr. Evil. And it bugged you a little bit, right? Because you were the one who figured out how to do Lorne.
Mike Myers and Dana Carvey, once brothers in comedy, are no longer close. And maybe they never really were. It all started with a pinky finger. During their years at SNL, Carvey, known for his killer impressions, had perfected a hilarious private impersonation of their boss, Lorne Michaels. It wasn't something he did on air. It was a behind-the-scenes joke, a secret weapon to crack up the cast when the pressure got too intense. The slow, deliberate speech, the awkward pauses, the half-whispered judgments, delivered with that signature deadpan, and of course, that subtle pinky gesture near the mouth. A made-up addition by Carvey himself, meant to exaggerate the already cartoonish quality of Michael's mannerisms. Everyone backstage saw it, including Mike Myers. Fast forward a few years, Myers leaves SNL and skyrockets with his new franchise, Austin Powers. The movie is a hit. Campy, brilliant, totally fresh. But lurking at the center of that colorful world was a character that made Dana Carvey's stomach drop. Dr. Evil. The voice, the mannerisms, the pinky finger, it was all there, and it felt stolen. Carvey, for years, said nothing publicly. After all, Lorne Michaels was the man who had given him his break. Mike Myers was his former castmate, someone he'd shared stages, jokes, and endless 3 a.m. rehearsals with. Calling him out felt petty, dangerous, maybe even career suicide, so Dana swallowed it. But the bitterness, that stayed. It wasn't until 2016, during an appearance on The Howard Stern Show, that Carvey finally admitted what fans had long suspected. Yeah, he believed Mike Myers took his private Lorne Michaels impression and turned it into a blockbuster character without ever giving him credit.
I have a lot of affection for him. I mean, but
was there a rift over the Dr. Evil character?
We never really talked about it. I talked about it to the therapist, and I basically let it go. You
did. But you felt that for a while. You felt like, the Dr. Evil character is Lorne, obviously. And in order to... It's a funny thing with impressions. Once somebody figures it out,
yes,
then the whole world can do it.
When I saw Mike do it, I did kind of go, Carvey said carefully, but it's a long time ago. And look, it's a really funny affectation because it's so specific. He laughed, but it was a sad kind of laugh. Asked if he ever confronted Myers about it, Carvey joked, "I'm in therapy now." And that's when the cracks in the facade became impossible to ignore. In Carvey's telling, their relationship was always complicated. "We were like siblings a little bit," he explained, "and we were never meant to be a comedy team." Wayne's World, the movie, the phenomenon, had grown out of a sketch that Myers originally wrote. He had invited Carvey in, and together they caught lightning in a bottle. But the bond that audiences saw on screen, that easy, stupidly perfect chemistry between Wayne and Garth, that wasn't real life. Behind the scenes, there was rivalry, competition, a growing sense that Myers was calling the shots, and Carvey was just along for the ride. By the time the second Wayne's World movie wrapped, the tension was thick enough to cut with a guitar pick, and then Austin Powers happened, and Dr. Evil happened, and Carvey realized that no matter how many sketches they'd crushed together, no matter how many autographs they'd signed side by side, he wasn't part of Mike Myers' inner circle anymore. Maybe he never had been. For years they barely spoke, no public fallouts, no Twitter feuds, just a long, slow fade into awkward silence. Every now and then they'd appear in the same room, at an SNL reunion, reunion at a comedy award show, but it was like watching two strangers politely nodding across a crowded street. Carvey tried to make peace with it. On Stern again in 2019, he said he'd basically let it go. Still, even then, he admitted, "We never really talked about it." The Dr. Evil wound never fully closed, it just scabbed over. Then came the 2019 Oscars. The Academy wanted a little nostalgia. They asked Myers and Carvey to reunite, to bring back Wayne and Garth for one more party on dude moment. The script was cheesy, the suits were tight, but standing backstage, guitars in hand, something clicked back into place for a second. It was very nice to have such a long friendship with someone. Carvey later said, maybe not a perfect friendship, maybe not even an easy one, but a shared history that neither of them could erase. Later, in 2021, they teamed up again for an Uber Eats Super Bowl commercial, joined hilariously by Cardi B, and spent more time together than they had in decades. The Ice thawed a little. Carvey in interviews tried to spin it positively. "We've come full circle," he told Stern. "We've become very, very close friends, and we just have too much history." It sounded good, it sounded hopeful, but if you listened closely, you could hear the hesitation still underneath. The way he talked about riding the rocket of Wayne's World, about having so many firsts together. It was all past tense, not what we have, what we had. Mike Myers, for his part, has never publicly addressed the Dr. Evil controversy in detail. He's been notoriously private for most of his career, taking long breaks from Hollywood, protecting his family life, choosing his projects with intense caution. He's the kind of guy who builds walls around himself and then acts surprised when people notice. And maybe that's what Dana Carvey finally accepted. Maybe you can't stay best friends with someone who was never wired for friendship in the first place. Maybe you just share the stage when you can, smile for the cameras, play your parts, and then go home. Separately. Today they are friendly. They'll crack jokes together at events. They'll revive Wayne and Garth when the paycheck is good enough, but best friends, not even close. The truth is, for all the laughs, for all the memories, for all the guitars and catchphrases and head-banging anthems in the backseat of a tiny car, Mike Myers and Dana Carvey drifted apart a long, long time ago. And some things, no matter how many years pass, you just can't rewind. What do you think? Was it just creative rivalry that pushed Mike and Dana apart, or was it betrayal? Something that no therapy, no Super Bowl ad, no Oscars reunion could ever undo. Drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear from you. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into celebrity friendships gone wrong, make sure to subscribe to our channel, because sometimes, behind the biggest smiles and loudest laughs, there are stories the world never really got to hear. Until now.